Are you looking for the 10 mystical rings that hold the power of immortality? Or are you on the hunt for the 7 Dragon Balls to fulfill all your quirky wishes? If the answer is affirmative, then you've come to the right place. Because in today's video, we'll introduce you to some of the greatest warriors of all time whose powers are rooted in martial arts. From a fighter who channels the soul of a dragon and a snow leopard with kick-ass kung fu skills, to a visually impaired superhero acrobat and a wise rat who teaches ninjutsu, we've got it all. We'd like to tell you here that this isn't a ranking and just a fun video that delves into the bizarre specialties of these warriors, who make the world a better place and, in some cases, seek to destroy it. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin! Aang from Avatar, The Last Airbender. Have you met Aang? He's the 12-year-old boy who loves to goof around with his friends and devour banana cakes, but also holds the key to the world's survival. Welcome to the magical realm of Avatar The Last Airbender, where Aang is the titular protagonist, an airbending prodigy, and a master of all other bending forms. The Last Airbender franchise is set in a fantasy world where some very lucky chosen people get to control the 4 natural elements of earth, air, water, earth and fire. Manipulating these elements, an art which is called bending, the benders become powerful warriors in their own realm. However, only one person has control over all 4 elements. This chosen one is none other than the titular Avatar, who's responsible for maintaining harmony among the nations and also acts as the link between the mortal and the spiritual world. Aang was born among the air nomads and hence developed a natural flair for airbending. But when he turned out to be the avatar of his time, he embarked on an adventure mission to also master the arts of waterbending, earthbending, and firebending, while fending off deadly attacks from the Fire Nation in their attempt to take over the world and destroy every other element bender. Interestingly, these bending forms are deeply inspired by real-life martial arts, such as waterbending movements replicate the style of Tai Chi, which is a less aggressive form of combat, and more of launching soft attacks by aligning the body and the mind. Aang learned the art of waterbending under the guidance of Master Pakku and perfected it by training with his bestie Katara, who eventually turned out to be better at it than Aang. Meanwhile, earthbending is strongly rooted in the Hung Gar and Chow Gar style of martial arts, with its powerful stances and brute endurance techniques. Though struggling at first, Aang had the privilege of mastering earthbending under the tutelage of the greatest in the field, the visually impaired iconic character Toph, aka the Blind Bandit. The most destructive form of bending is firebending, which is inspired by Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, with its strongly animated movements and violent outcomes. Aang remained terrified of firebending after impatiently learning the art from Master Firebender Zhang, and then trying it unsupervised and burning Katara in the process. He got the most useful tips from Prince Zuko, son of the Fire Lord, but they both eventually mastered the art after training under the OG firebending masters, the dragons Shaw and Ran. Finally, Aang was a natural at airbending, a form that draws inspiration from the martial art form of Bagua, which includes slow, flowy movements while circle walking, but with tornado-like results. Aang honed his airbending skills under the guidance of his first ever teacher and mentor, Monk Gyatso, a master airbender. As a bonus, Aang was gifted the rare ability of energy bending, through which he could drain his opponent's bending abilities, something which he used against the franchise's overarching villain, Fire Lord Ozai. In addition to his bending skills grounded in martial art forms, Aang gained the ability to unlock his chakras so that he could access the power of his avatar state, which is a powerful amalgamation of all bending forms. Using his chakras, Aang could also manifest the power of his chi. Ryu from Street Fighter. Next up, we have the ultimate favorite character of Street Fighter fans, Ryu. Swift as the wind, quiet as the forest, attacks like fire, strong as a mountain. That's Ryu for you folks. Ryu is the protagonist of the Street Fighter gaming franchise, which began with the first installment in 1987. Introduced as an orphan who has no memories of his parents, Ryu was adopted by a powerful martial arts master, Gouken, who trained him in the fictional martial arts style named Ansatsuken. This fighting form was a blend of ancient assassination techniques, karate, taekwondo, and other fighting disciplines, thus making the Ansatsuken style of fighting a mysterious and deadly skill. Gouken trained Ryu in Ansatsuken with the mantra, "Ponder where you've been, and where your fist will lead you," and transformed the once clueless orphan into the most powerful street fighter in the world, who further aspires to be a true martial artist. And in his attempt to do so, Ryu challenged the most formidable of fighters, beginning with Sagat in his first ever World Warrior tournament. When almost defeated by Sagat, Ryu's desire to emerge victorious unleashed a thunderous power inside of him, and under its influence, Ryu split open Sagat's chest, thus scarring him for life. Ryu eventually learnt that he possessed a murderous fighting instinct named Satsui no Hado, a latent energy which even managed to transform him into the evil Ryu once. Anyway, in order to become an honorable fighter, Ryu learned to control his killing instinct and shun out the Satsui no Hado, thus staying true to Goken's non-killing fighting style, a purified form of the Ansatsuken. Ryu's fought and defeated the most savage, such as the gigantic Muay Thai champion Sagat, Goken's killer Akuma, and M. Bison, the leader of an evil organization named Shadaloo. Ryu's an expert at chi manipulation, which is the ability to control his life force to generate several forms of energy or Hadokens that manifest as blue fireballs. His biggest feat, the Hadokens, are special moves that come naturally to Ryu through a waving motion of the fist. The Hadokens, which have several forms such as lightning, destroying, cyclone, and vacuum, are powerful enough to reduce a 20-foot statue to rubble or stop a waterfall in its tracks. Ryu can control elements such as electricity and fire, and can also include these into his Hadokens. Ryu's also empowered by enhanced reflexes, enabling him to dodge bullets. Unlike his best friend Ken, who was also trained by Goken, Ryu avoids any flashy fighting movements as a true blue martial artist who simply lives for the fight. Batman. Next up, we have the Caped Crusader, Gotham City's Dark Knight, Batman. A billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne by day and a masked vigilante by night, Batman's regarded as one of the finest fighters in the world, comparable to the might of godlike superheroes. Bruce Wayne's mastery of fighting skills and his dexterity at martial arts disciplines was motivated by the tragic loss of his parents when he was just 8. Born to wealthy socialites Thomas and Martha Wayne of Gotham City, a young Bruce Wayne lived a life of luxury in Bruce Manor, till one night his parents were shot dead right in front of his very eyes by a petty Gotham City criminal. Left alone in Wayne Manor, Bruce decided to channel his anger and grief into rigorous physical and intellectual training, and began traveling the world to gain expertise in criminology and fields of science, especially technological creations. Trained by various masters over the years, Batman was regarded as a natural genius by many, with Grandmaster Kirigi deducing that Batman masters every martial arts form due to his great violent nature inside of him. Batman surprised Karate Kid of the future by quickly adapting to the futuristic combat styles, which Batman had never experienced before. In the DC Comics, Batman is a master of as many as 127 forms of martial arts, including MMA, Muay Thai, Judo, Eskrima, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, Hapkido, Capoeira, Kali, Kendo, fencing, Wing Chun, parkour, Ojutsu, wrestling, Fran combat, Sambo, Savate, and Yoyan. Phew! Basically, it's an endless list. By his own admission, Batman declared, "I've been trained in perfection in every violent art there is. From this vantage point, I can incapacitate a person in 463 different ways without drawing blood." So, which one of these are Batman's frequently used fighting techniques? We'd say Ninjutsu, Karate, Krav Maga, Kung Fu, and Taekwondo are Batman's favorites. His martial arts training has also granted him expertise in various types of weaponry. His proficiency in jiu-jitsu makes him an exceptional swordsman, and through his expertise in Okinawan Kabuto, Batman's skilled at most melee weapons. With his unparalleled fighting skills, Batman's taken down formidable adversaries such as Superman, Lady Shiva, Deathstroke, Ra's al Ghul, Caliban, Darkseid, Bane, Hyperman. Actually, this list too is endless, thus making him one of the strongest DC Comics superheroes. While in the comics, Batman's been trained by several masters. In the massively successful Christopher Nolan movies, Batman had Ra's al Ghul as his teacher. This supervillain is the leader of League of Shadows, a fierce team of assassins trained to fight crime with extreme means. In addition to training Batman in violent forms of martial arts, he also taught the masked vigilante the art of theatricality and deception, elements necessary to keep Batman's identity concealed. Batman's most important takeaways from Ra's al Ghul's teachings were mastering the will to act and purging his fear, thus making him a deadly fighter with unmatchable instincts. It seems Batman's best martial art skill is his Ninjutsu, which is more of a way of life and mindset than just a fighting form. As a tech genius, Batman creates and employs an impressive array of gadgets, thus acting like a modern-day super ninja, and harking back to the Japanese Ninjutsu philosophy of combining martial arts with technology. Chun-Li from Street Fighter. If you don't fancy a round of upside-down kick attacks or a shower of lightning-fast kicks, then stay out of Chun-Li's way. Meet Chun-Li, an iconic fighter and the strongest woman in the world who made history in the gaming world. Chun-Li is the female protagonist of the Street Fighter franchise and the tritagonist of the gaming series. Chun-Li was the first playable female character in the history of gaming, making her a literal game-changer in more ways than one. As a little kid, Chun-Li watched the Peking Opera, which has combat performances as her first Chinese play, and a Bruce Lee film was her introduction to movies. Inspired by the combat techniques, she began learning Tai Chi and was soon taken under the guidance of her father Dorai, who introduced her to the wushu style of fighting named Hong Quan when she began using her legs as the primary mode of combat. Given that Dorai, who worked for the Hong Kong Police Department, was also known to have legendary legs, it wasn't surprising that Chun-Li's kick attacks became iconic over time. Chun-Li became an absolute kickmaster by blending Chinese martial arts, taekwondo, battle karate, and capoeira to create her own unique art form, and thus she gave rise to several legendary signature moves such as the Hyakuretsu Kyaku, which is standing on one leg and raining down 100 kicks with the other at the speed of lightning with devastating effects. In addition to her 100 lightning kicks, Chun-Li also developed the Kaiten Teki Kaku Yakushu, or the spinning bird kick technique, which is as complicated and impressive as it sounds. Chun-Li hovers herself in the air upside down and then does a split before spinning at an incredible speed with her legs acting like the blades of a helicopter, thus kicking her opponent multiple times at the target spot, most frequently the face. Through her evolution across the gaming franchise, Chun-Li's incorporated several fighting styles, such as Hung Gar techniques, some Bagua throws, Piga Quan open palm attacks, and Fanzi Quan machine gun punches. In addition to Chun-Li's signature moves, she had numerous deadly attack forms originating in martial arts, such as the Kikoken, which is hurling energy balls through her palms. Then there's Tensho Kyaku, which is the ability to leap into the air while performing multiple kicks to damage airborne opponents. In the Street Fighter lore, when her father Dorai went missing, Chun-Li eventually set out on a never-ending hunt for M. Bison, who assassinated Dorai. She also became an Interpol officer like her dad and relentlessly investigated the evil organization Shadaloo, before retiring to mentor the little hacker Li Fen and teach kung fu to orphaned kids. When Li Fen was kidnapped, Chun-Li was forced out of retirement and resumed her kick-ass fighter persona one last time. As a playable character, Chun-Li was one of the masters of martial arts that the player can learn fighting techniques from, encouraging the player all the way to continue fighting for the future. Goku. Next up, we have Goku, the iconic protagonist of the Dragon Ball manga series and animated show. Landing up on Earth from a different planet altogether, Goku was an excellent martial artist and became the ultimate defender of Earth, who believed in the simplicity of life and the idea that power comes in response to a need, not a desire. Interestingly, the character of Goku was inspired by the extraordinary warrior protagonist Sun Wukong from the 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West, and also modern fighting legends such as Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. Hence, it's no surprise that Goku is a master martial artist and the supreme warrior Earth has ever stood witness. Born with the name Kakarot, Goku comes from the now extinct Saiyan race of the planet Vegeta. Before his homeworld was destroyed by a supervillain, Kakarot was shipped off to Earth and adopted by the benevolent son Gohan, who granted him the name Goku. Because of his Saiyan origins, a race of inherent warrior nature, Goku turns out to be extremely violent and aggressive until a head injury wipes out his past memories and grants him a sprightly, carefree personality. Gohan went on to train him extensively in martial arts, but Goku was forbidden to be exposed to the moon, given its transformative effects on the boy. Disobeying his mentor, Goku transformed into a gigantic ape and accidentally killed Gohan, following which he practically raised himself alone, secluded in the mountains, living only with a Dragon Ball as Gohan's only surviving memory. Goku soon began his quest to acquire the 7 mystical Dragon Balls, which, when brought together, summons the wish-granting dragon Shenron. Throughout his journey, Goku gains loyal allies and friends who stick with him through thick and thin till Goku becomes the mightiest warrior on Earth. In addition to Gohan's training, Goku is also later fine-tuned by martial artist Master Roshi and Krillin the monk, who eventually becomes his best friend. However, Goku's adventures were riddled with obstacles in the form of a wide menagerie of villains, and Goku proved to be nothing short of a nightmare to his opponents thanks to his Saiyan roots and martial arts expertise. Even without any transformations, Goku is an excellent combatant through the knowledge of various martial art styles. Through the Kaioken technique, which was taught to Goku by King Kai, he could increase his energy or chi several folds, enhancing his speed, strength, and power. As a Saiyan, Goku can undergo multiple levels of transformations known as his Super Saiyan forms, which multiplies his powers by 50 the first time, by 100 the second time, and by 400 the third time. And his anime-only transformation, Super Saiyan 4, employs a multiplier of an unknown, humongous value. Goku can generate energy blasts from within by harnessing his chi. He's also durable enough to endure a planet-destroying chi blast. Goku was known to train under the pull of 10 times of Earth's gravity, and in his highest transformative form, which is Super Saiyan 4, Goku can lift over 1,600,000 tons. One of Goku's most iconic moves is the Dragon Fist, by which he channels his chi through his fist that takes the shape of a golden dragon resembling Shenron and is powerful enough to devour or impale the opponent. Another iconic move of Goku is his unique Spirit Bomb, in which he assimilates the energy from the living beings in his surroundings to generate a massive energy sphere. His energy assimilation radius for the Spirit Bomb can range from his immediate surroundings to interplanetary spaces. As the greatest defender of Earth, Goku has only one threat for his opponents, and that is, I'm going to renovate your face. Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. If you hear a warrior uttering Ome wa mu shinderu, it means you have just 10 more seconds to live. Meet Kenshiro, the protagonist of Fist of the North Star manga and anime franchise. Kenshiro's catchphrase, which translates to "you're already dead," is not just empty words, as this ultimate martial arts legend can actually kill his opponent by poking just a trigger point. In the Fist of the North Star lore, Kenshiro belonged to a land that glorified battle and bloodshed, thus instilling a strong sense of justice and honor in him. Traveling to Japan, a young Kenshiro was adopted by Ryuken, the grandmaster of the martial art form called Hokuto Shinken. This fighting discipline is inspired by assassination techniques and was so deadly that there could only exist one successor at one point in time. Looking for the next martial arts prodigy, Ryuken began training his adoptive sons Rao, Yagi, Toki, and Kenshiro. Despite being the youngest, Kenshiro's proficiency in the Hokuto Shinken discipline established the young fighter as the worthy successor of Ryuken. Becoming the 64th successor of the discipline, Kenshiro turned out to be among the most powerful Hokuto Shinken masters in a history of almost 2 millennia. Soon enough, Kenshiro irked the wrath of Rao, his ultimate arch-nemesis, who wanted the successor title for himself and refused to submit his fists, eventually assassinating his mentor, Ryuken. Kenshiro encountered more adversaries in the Brothers of Hokuto, who once trained alongside him to be the successor. He also became a target of the 6 Grandmasters of Nanto Seiken, a rival form of assassination martial arts. Despite honing unparalleled martial arts skills, Kenshiro chose a life of tranquility with his lover, who was soon kidnapped by a rival fighter, prompting Kenshiro to unleash fury on a wide range of evil warriors and tyrants. The Fist of the North Star is set in a post-apocalyptic world, where a nuclear war has turned Earth into a wasteland. The survivors are constantly battling for uncontaminated food and water, with the powerful preying on the weak. Devastated by the loss of his loved one, Kenshiro takes on the mantle of the savior, who roams the wastelands, surviving in seclusion, and fights evil warriors in his attempt to rebuild the world. Now, what is Hokuto Shinken? The martial arts form that made Kenshiro invincible. This fighting form trains its practitioners into killing an opponent by channeling the body's energy into delivering a lethal blow to one of the 708 hidden pressure points located in one's body. Receiving a Hokuto Shinken blow means that the opponent is already dead, even before the realization dawns upon them. And this is what makes Kenshiro's catchphrase, "you're already dead," so apt. By reducing the intensity of assault, the Hokuto Shinken moves can also be used to heal or incapacitate a person. As a master martial artist, Kenshiro can easily one-up armored warriors, barbarians, and even giants, that too with his bare hands. His notable fighting stances include the Imperial Fist, which is the projection of an energy shield or blast that destroys the opponent's body on a molecular level. Kenshiro's 100 Crack Fist, a rapid-fire punch, is his signature move, which he delivers with the catchphrase and causes the opponents to explode. Some extremely lethal Hokuto Shinken moves employed by this hero are the Meteorite Face-Breaking Kick, which splits the enemy's head with a kick, the Bone-Crushing Fist, which rips out the skeleton through the body, and Soft-Breaking Slash, which pierces the flesh. Milder forms of Hokuto Shinken attacks include Nothingness Finger Snap, which erases the memory of the opponent, and the Fist of the Blue Style, which transports the opponent into a world of nothingness. Kenshiro became the first man to manifest a secret Hokuto Shinken technique called the Muso Tensei, which granted him the power of fallen rivals and enabled him to fight on even if his physical body was destroyed, using his soul as an avatar. This legendary warrior may be uncompromising and violent with his ways, but comes with a strong sense of justice, and is only cruel to those who deserve such a fate. With his tragic origins and impressive martial arts feats, Kenshiro is not only amongst the strongest heroes across all franchises everywhere, but also one of the first anime protagonists to normalize emotional vulnerability by frequently crying on screen. Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. You have chosen to defy peace. Then you have chosen war with a god. Welcome to the realm of Liu Kang, people. This Shaolin monk turned god of fire is the quintessential protagonist of the Mortal Kombat franchise, who's nothing short of a fighting legend and boasts a glorious warrior legacy. Liu Kang is the greatest protector and most powerful warrior of Earthrealm, one who has championed the Mortal Kombat tournament not once, not twice, but at least 6 times, if not more. Orphaned at a young age, Liu Kang was adopted by Shaolin monks, who raised him with their beliefs and extensively trained him in martial arts. In addition to being a Shaolin monk and a master of martial arts, Liu Kang was chosen to become a member of the secret White Lotus Society, which comprised the finest of warriors, dedicated to protecting Earthrealm through Mortal Kombat tournaments. For his first tournament, Liu Kang was challenged by the soul-stealing supervillain of the franchise, sorcerer Shang Tsung, and he turned out to be the winner by employing his flying kick technique to defeat the Shang Tsung. For his second tournament, Liu Kang traveled to Outworld to one-up the tyrant Shao Kahn and avenge the death of his slain Shaolin brothers. Liu Kang's impressive feats were achieved through the dexterity of martial arts and his connection to the element fire, which he could manipulate and incorporate in his fighting techniques. Liu Kang could also shapeshift into a dragon and engulf his opponents in a fiery blaze. In a dark turn of events, Liu Kang would be killed off in Mortal Kombat lore by a villainous alliance of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. In the original timeline, Liu Kang's soulless corpse was resurrected to serve Thunder God Raiden as a sinister being, while in the rebooted timeline, a reanimated Liu Kang serves Quan Chi as an undead revenant. Liu Kang returned to his heroic persona in the recent past, when Raiden merged his soul with the past and present versions of Liu Kang to make him the one and only Fire God Liu Kang. Now, let's take a look at Liu Kang's unmatched martial arts skills. He was trained in fighting techniques by the legendary Outworld warrior Bo Raicho, who's known for his drunken fist style and the whirlwind kick. It's Bo Raicho who taught Liu Kang his iconic flying kick attack. Liu Kang's adept at the martial arts forms of Shaolin Kung Fu, Pao Chui, Karate, Choi Lei Fut, and Jun Fan, the last of which is inspired by Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, as Jun Fan was Bruce Lee's real name. Liu Kang was also proficient in Monkey Kung Fu and Dragon Kung Fu styles. Liu Kang could also tap into the dualist martial art, which enabled him to control the healing yin and destructive yang abilities. Liu Kang's most savage attack was the flying dragon kick, especially the flaming version of it, in which his leg was covered in fire, causing a more devastating and quicker damage. Liu Kang also mastered the Dragon Fire move, which is releasing a fiery flame shaped like a dragon. Liu Kang's signature killing attack was the Dragon Bite, which is morphing into a dragon and devouring the opponent. Adding to his collection of deadliest blows, Liu Kang mastered the lethal Dragon Tail move, which is a cartwheel kick on his opponent that damages the receiver's jaw and skull, and also the Fist of Flame, which is a devastating punch of a fiery fist. Mai Shiranui, from Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. Another outstanding martial artist who plays with fire quite literally is the female ninja Mai Shiranui from the Fatal Fury and King of Fighters games, whose weapons of choice are deadly steel fans. Mai Shiranui wasn't supposed to make it to the main roster of Fatal Fury characters, but was created as an amalgamation of two scrapped concepts. Upon her inception, Mai Shiranui became the first female character in the King of Fighters games, drawing comparisons to her Street Fighter counterpart Chun-Li. Mai Shiranui turned out to be extremely popular, largely owing to her sex appeal. Mai Shiranui is known to be famously infatuated with a fellow Fatal Fury character, Andy Bogard, who was a student of Mai's grandfather. Andy, who remained too busy seeking revenge for his dead father's assassination, never returned Mai's feeling. Despite being a fierce fighter, Mai has a bubbly personality and displays great regards for her nation's traditions, also training in calligraphy, archery, and koto playing, honing her martial arts skills alongside. In the gaming lore, Mai Shiranui comes from a long line of ninjas, who have been practitioners of the Shiranui Ryu Ninjutsu martial art form. From an early age, she's been rigorously trained by her grandfather, Hanzo Shiranui, in her family's ninjutsu form, and the empty-handed Koppoken fighting style. Mai Shiranui also had training in close combat styles from her grandfather's friend, Judo Master Jubei Yamada. In addition to her super ninja skills, Mai Shiranui can also generate and control fire, and can enhance her martial arts abilities through psychokinesis. Because of her extensive range of training combined with her unique powers, Mai Shiranui developed a fighting style which she described as float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. As a trained Shiranui fighter, she integrates her fire powers with ninjutsu techniques, resulting in faster and more destructive blows. She can not only infuse her attacks with fire, but can also cloak herself in a fiery blaze. Mai Shiranui can channel the fire through her clothes and weapons, causing anything she touches to explode. Owing to her martial arts training, Mai is an expert at scaling surfaces and a master of stealth. She can also float and glide in the air, enabling her to launch aerial attacks. She can fish out a never-ending supply of steel fans, which she used as projectiles or in close combat attacks, resulting in some of her favorite attack techniques such as the fire butterfly fans and the folding fan Fandango. In hand-to-hand combat, Mai frequently used the flying squirrel dance, which is a diving attack, and the deadly ninja bees, which is a cartwheel kick followed by an elbow strike, powerful enough to decapitate enemies. As an expert of the Koppoken technique, Mai Shiranui is also adept at pressure point attacks and bone snapping. Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You live, you die. You fight as brothers, and remember, nothing is as strong as family. A combination of such life lessons and martial arts mastery is what makes up the wise master Splinter, a protagonist of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, appearing in all adaptations of the comics. Believe it or not, Master Splinter is a humanoid rat. He's the adoptive father figure and martial arts instructor of the titular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, how did a rat come to adopt a bunch of mutated turtles and also become a martial arts expert? Well, the story varies in different adaptations, but in all of them, Master Splinter's origins begin with the ninja character Hamato Yoshi, who was one of the best warriors in the ninja organization Foot Clan. Jealous of Hamato, a rival ninja Orokusaki successfully managed to expel him from the clan, forcing him to flee Japan and relocate to New York City. Living in the sewers under the busy streets, Hamato Yoshi continued training in martial arts and befriended rats in the gutter. One day, when a canister of mutagenic waste and 4 baby turtles from a boy's glass jar accidentally fell through the manhole, the mutagen combined the DNA of the living beings who had been in contact with Hamato, the rats to be precise, and transformed into a humanoid rat. Meanwhile, the turtles were turned into humanoid beings. In this version, the rat form of Hamato came to be named as Splinter by the turtles, while the turtles were named Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo from a Renaissance book Splinter found in the drains. Known as Master Splinter among the turtles because of his proficiency at breaking wooden boards, he trained them in Ninjutsu and Kenjutsu, so that one day they could seek revenge from Orokusaki, who's now known as the Shredder. In the original comics, Splinter was Hamato Yoshi's pet rat, who was exceptionally intelligent for his race and mindfully observed Hamato Yoshi practicing martial arts every day, secretly learning techniques from his master. Owing to a feud between Hamato Yoshi and Oroku Nagi, Hamato was killed by Nagi's brother, Orokusaki, when Splinter managed to claw Saki's face but got his ears chopped off in the scuffle. Escaping Saki, aka the Shredder, Splinter started inhabiting the gutters of New York City, when an accidental spillage of the mutagenic waste enhanced his intellectual and physical abilities, transforming him into a humanoid rat. 4 baby turtles who accidentally landed up in the sewers were also mutated and transformed into the humanoid turtles by the mutagenic waste. Adopting them as their kids, Splinter began training the 4 so that one day they may avenge his master, Hamato Yoshi. Whatever Splinter's origin story arc may be, his reputation as an undisputed martial arts master remains consistent through the franchise. He's revealed to be a champion of the Battle Nexus, a multi-dimensional fight in which fighters from across dimensions clash with each other. Master Splinter's also able to fight and defeat all 4 of the Ninja Turtles at once. His personality is based in martial arts, as is seen in his strict and militant behavior with his turtle students. His punishments for them include doing repeated backflips and balancing on chopsticks. Though he traditionally doesn't fight with a weapon, Splinter is seen to carry a wooden stick with him and is excellent with a bow and arrow. As a self-taught martial artist, Master Splinter is an extraordinary master of ninjutsu and is outstandingly skilled in the traditional art of samurai sword fighting Kenjutsu. He merged Kenjutsu techniques with katana maneuvers to overwhelm his archenemy Shredder in a fight. He can take on multiple armed Foot Clan soldiers on his own, and even impress Shredder with his fighting skills. Po from Kung Fu Panda. Do you smell dumplings and noodles? That's because our next Kung Fu master here is a big foodie, and was kept motivated by a bowl of dumplings during his Kung Fu training. Welcome to the world of Po, the adorable panda who doubles up as the prophesized dragon warrior, and one who fights with unorthodox tactics. Master Po is the protagonist of the Kung Fu Panda franchise, who mastered the toughest martial arts forms, brought the spotlight back on the dragon-style Kung Fu, and invented the unheard-of panda style. Po was born to Li Shan and his wife in a farming village of pandas, but he was separated from his parents following a massacre caused by the villainous Lord Shen. In another town, baby Po was adopted by a Chinese goose named Mr. Ping, who runs a noodle shop and hopes that Po would inherit the business one day. Despite his gigantic size and, not exactly athletic nature, Po has grown up harboring great interest in Kung Fu. He's a Kung Fu geek who has extensive knowledge about the martial art form's history, artifacts, combat moves, and warriors, and owns toy figurines of the Furious Five, a quintet of excellent Kung Fu warriors. However, owing to his 6'2" height and 260-pound size, and being a species which isn't exactly cut out for Kung Fu, Po often finds himself sulking, unaware that he's to become a Kung Fu expert one day. Po's enthusiasm for Kung Fu accidentally got him chosen as the Dragon Warrior, which led to his training under the enigmatic Kung Fu legend Master Shifu. Initially rebuked, humiliated, and wounded at the training arena, Po survived the rigorous training through his perseverance and became besties with the Furious Five, whom he'd later train as their master. He proved himself worthy of the Dragon Warrior title after defeating the formidable villain Tai Lung by using the epic Wuji finger hold. So, how did a panda manage to become a Kung Fu legend? By embracing his inherent pandaness. Shifu theorized that Po must use his physical attributes to his advantage, such as using his belly as defense and thus converting his perceived weaknesses into strength. As the originator of the panda style, Po used body fat to bounce off attacks, resulting in the iconic belly gong move, and also came up with the feat of Fury move, which is launching rapid kicks at his opponents. Po saw Kung Fu in everything and used everyday items like a noodle wok and stilts and fireworks to fight. Po peaked in his Kung Fu training by achieving inner peace and mastering the water drop catching technique. He also perfected special moves such as the Golden Lotus Clap, the Paralyzing Touch Point, and the Silken Moon Touch. He also learnt 2 of the 12 impossible stances such as the Thundering Wind Hammer, which is rapidly spinning and then suddenly releasing energy balls through his palms, and then the Mongolian Fireball, which is launching a fiery attack through the palms. Shown by Master Shifu, Po tapped into the power of Qi and manifested a blazing dragon silhouette around him to defeat the antagonist General Kai. As the Dragon Warrior, Po also implemented the real-life dragon style of Kung Fu, which is evident in the 2-finger and thumb claw technique. To top it all, Po is an excellent cook, having worked in his father's noodle shop for years, and is always happy to dish out scrumptious meals for his friends. Samurai Jack. Next, we have a samurai warrior who trained all his life to destroy a demon but found himself stuck in the future, grappling to return to the time he belonged to. Meet Samurai Jack, the protagonist of the eponymous cartoon franchise, spanning across shows, comics, and video games. What drives Samurai Jack's unrelenting war against the overarching demon villain Aku is summed up in these very words uttered by the protagonist himself. 50 years have passed, but I do not age. Time has lost its effect on me, yet the suffering continues. Aku's grasp chokes the past, present, and the future. Hope is lost. Gotta get back to the past. The titular hero of the cartoon show is introduced as a Japanese prince with an unknown name, born to the emperor and empress of his land. Shortly after his birth, the emperor sealed off the demon Aku, who was freed by a solar eclipse 8 years later. When the demon captured the emperor and took over his land, the empress fled the kingdom and sent away the 8-year-old prince to faraway lands to train in martial arts. The prince's send-off was kept pre-planned by the royal couple, who anticipated that Aku might re-emerge in the future. For years, the prince received training in defense and survival techniques from masters and cultures all around the world to become the ultimate samurai who can challenge Aku's mystically crafted sword. Shortly after the prince reunited with his mother as an adult, he challenged Aku and dealt him a couple of deadly blows. Just when he was about to finish off Aku, the demon, with his time-traveling skills, opened a portal and transported the prince several millennia into the future. In this dystopian future world, Aku reigns supreme, unopposed. Stranded in an unfamiliar timeline and rendered ageless by Aku's spell, the prince assumes the moniker Jack and begins his never-ending attempts of fighting the future Aku and returning to his original timeline to destroy the past Aku, a quest which carries on for 50 years. During his half a century in the future, Samurai Jack spent most of his time helping others, owing to his years of intensive experience in becoming the ultimate warrior and a wise monk-like personality. As a young prince, when Jack took off on the Japanese ship, he was taught astronomy by the ship captain, following which he learnt to ride horses from the sheikhs of Arabia. In Africa, left alone with a tribe of bushmen, he learnt to fight with a staff, and in Egypt, he was taught by the best of the scholars. He honed the art of wrestling in Greece and trained with Robin Hood in England. Working with a bunch of Vikings on a boat, Jack learnt axe throwing in Russia and horse riding combat in Mongolia. His final training was at a Shaolin monastery, where he learnt various martial arts disciplines. Naturally, Samurai Jack turned out to be a master of the katana, an extraordinary swordsman, a master of nunchaku and shuriken, primarily motivated by the fact that a sword is the only weapon that can seal back the demon Aku. Jack's dexterity with the sword enabled him to deliver countless blows within seconds, and even fend off machine gun rounds. Mentored by Robin Hood, he had excellent archery skills as well, and as a master martial artist, Jack was invincible in hand-to-hand combat, tapping into the techniques of the eagle, tiger, and praying mantis styles of Kung Fu. He was also proficient in African stick fighting, particularly in the styles of scorpion, cheetah, monkey, and snake. Shang-Chi. Next up, we have Marvel's ring-wielding Shang-Chi, who's a self-made superhero, a warrior, a spy, and many things. But as per his own words, there is one thing everyone calls me, one thing about which all others are certain. They call me the master of Kung Fu. Shang-Chi, born to the extremely knowledgeable Zhengzhou in the Henan province of China, was trained in martial arts by his father from a very early age. Shang-Chi was also mentored by other combat tutors to become the ultimate warrior and aspired to carry on his father's legacy of a benevolent and humanitarian leader. However, Shang-Chi remained unaware that Zhengzhou was actually a criminal mastermind operating under the alias of Dr. Fu Manchu, one of the deadliest supervillains of the Marvel Universe. On his first mission assigned by Fu Manchu, Shang-Chi learnt of his father's true nature from Fu Manchu's arch-nemesis, Sir Dennis Nayland Smith. Feeling betrayed, Shang-Chi escaped his father's Manhattan headquarters and eventually joined forces with Smith and MI6. He embarked on several missions as part of his alliance with MI6, and his travels around the world led him to meet and learn from several other martial artists. Shang-Chi's adventures were mostly about thwarting his father's attempts of global domination. Shang-Chi even encountered and defeated his adoptive brother Midnight, who was sent by Fu Manchu to assassinate him. Shang-Chi's crime-fighting spree also brought him face-to-face with his sister Fa Lo Sui, who ran a narcotics business and schemed to usurp her father's criminal empire one day. After clashing for several years, Shang-Chi eventually witnessed the end of Fu Manchu, something which overwhelmed him with guilt, prompting Shang-Chi to leave the world of espionage and live as a fisherman. He was forced out of retirement when several evil masterminds fought over his father's criminal empire. Shang-Chi went on to join the Avengers, fought alongside the X-Men against the Sci-Fan and the Cyber Ninjas, and later became the Supreme Commander of the Five Weapons Society. Shang-Chi's greatest feat was that he was able to acquire the magical 10 Rings of Mandarin. The legendary rings can't be wielded by normal mortals, which Shang-Chi was able to do owing to his Ta Lo ancestry, belonging to a heavenly realm. To unleash the true powers of the rings, Shang-Chi had to submit to his inherent dark traits, which briefly transformed him into the likeness of his father's villainous persona. But owing to his determination and martial arts training, Shang-Chi overcame the dark influence, and in return, the 10 rings retained their abilities, remaining loyal to him. Although starting off with no superpowers, the 10 rings granted Shang-Chi superhuman strength and durability, which further augmented his martial arts expertise. Shang-Chi is able to use the 10 rings both as powerful weapons and as modes of transportation, and can even create portals by harnessing the rings' energy. Even without his rings, Shang-Chi is the ultimate martial arts warrior, who was able to one-up fellow martial artist Iron Fist, despite the two being portrayed as equals. Years of martial arts training made Shang-Chi an expert at chi manipulation, allowing him to channel the energy to launch devastating attacks. Furthermore, Shang-Chi can also detect his opponent's true nature by sensing their chi. Though preferring to fight without weapons, Shang-Chi is skilled in weapon-centric wushu styles and is proficient in fighting with oxtail swords, butterfly swords, single and double nunchaku, and the Jian, a Chinese double-edged sword. Did you know Shang-Chi also trained Spider-Man in martial arts and helped him discover a combat style that complements his Spidey powers? Shang-Chi is the master of Kung Fu for a reason, after all. Shredder of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Remember Shredder? He's Master Splinter's nemesis and the archenemy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Several versions of this supervillain have appeared in the TMNT franchise, and in all of them, he remains an extraordinary martial artist who sports armor equipped with blades and weaponized stirrups, a concept inspired by a cheese grater. Shredder is usually the villainous alter ego of the deadly ninja Oroku Saki, a consistent foe of Master Splinter. As we told you before, in the original comics, a feud began between the warriors Oroku Nagi, Usaki's brother, and Hamato Yoshi over their common love interest. In the ensuing rivalry, Hamato Yoshi slaughtered Oroku Nagi and fled to New York City with his lover. Angered and grieved by his brother's death, Oroku Saki joined the ninja group of the Foot Clan and trained rigorously to soon become its leader and adopt his armored Shredder persona. Arriving in the Big Apple to handle the Foot Clan's New York operations, Shredder engaged in illegal activities such as drug trafficking and arms smuggling. He also hunted down Hamato Yoshi and his lover and murdered them brutally. Training under Splinter for 15 long years, the teenage ninjas challenged Shredder in a martial arts battle. When Shredder was almost defeated, he was given the opportunity to perform seppuku, a ritual suicide, but he activated a grenade instead. When pushed off the building, Shredder met an explosive end, only to be resurrected later through worms that fed on the remains of his body, recreating his cells. He was finished off once and for all when the ninjas decapitated him and dumped his body in the Hudson River. Undoubtedly, Shredder's biggest strength was his iconic sharp armor, but as the leader of the Ninja Foot Clan, he was an excellent martial artist himself. As a master of ninjutsu, his effortless defensive skills were feared by even Splinter. Shredder was so deadly with his martial art maneuvers that he managed to fend off trained ninja warriors with minimal attacks, even when he was bound by a rope. Shredder was superhumanly strong, owing to his rigorous training, and he was further made invincible by the deadly armor. Even before he was destined to become the Shredder, Oroku Saki trained extensively for a long period of time to boost his physical prowess and enhance his martial arts skills. In the battlefield, he was capable of outmatching the Ninja Turtles, with his expertise only being rivaled by Master Splinter. Shredder was also a technological genius who created advanced defensive gadgets. He also trained the humanoid punk frogs within a short time span of time to fight the Turtles. Shredder's technologically advanced armor enabled him to fight with his complete martial arts skill set, Add to it the fact that Shredder's armor was equipped with Wolverine-like slashing blades. Iron Fist. Spicy Hanukkah. That's Iron Fist saying hello to you. This enigmatic Marvel character comes with legendary martial arts prowess and mystical abilities. Before he became Iron Fist, Daniel Rand was the son of a wealthy businessman in America who originally hailed from the fabled city of Kunlun. When Daniel was just 9, his father attempted to return to his homeworld, which exists in another dimensional realm. He traveled to Tibet to go through the interdimensional portal with his family to finally arrive in Kunlun, but an accident on the treacherous Himalayan ranges left Daniel as the sole survivor, with the people of Kunlun eventually rescuing Daniel and bringing him to their lord, UT, who had actually plotted the murder of Daniel's parents. In Kunlun, Daniel was sent to train under Grandmaster Lei Kung, who also went by the name of the Thunderer. Under his rigorous training, Daniel achieved impressive feats such as earning the crown of Fu Si, the King of the Vipers, and destroying as many as 4 opponents in the ritualistic Challenge of the Many. Daniel Rand also destroyed the mechanical android Shu Hu in a battle, whose name literally means the lightning. During his training, Daniel hardened his hands by shoving them inside burning sand, gravel, and rock. Daniel Rand's transformation into the Iron Fist occurred when he turned 19, and he was presented with the opportunity to prove himself worthy of the title. Following a devastating fight with a fire-breathing serpent that lived outside of Kunlun, Daniel procured the serpent's molten heart from a flaming brazier, which further empowered his fists with a mystical fiery power, thus making him the Iron Fist. At the heart of Daniel Rand's powers lies his extensive training in Kunlun's martial arts and other combat styles from Earth. The Iron Fist's attacking stances are a blend of his years of training in forms such as Ninjutsu, Kunlun Quan, Wing Chun, Shaolin Quan, Aikido, Fujian White Crane, Muay Thai, Judo, Karate, and boxing. In addition, he also incorporates street fighting style techniques. The knowledge and experience of all the Iron Fists before him further rendered him all the more powerful. Undoubtedly, the main element of Iron Fist's fighting technique is his signature ability, the Iron Fist. Through his ability to harness mystical forces and by channeling his inner chi, Daniel Rand can grant his strikes with incredible devastating powers, capable of shattering metal and send adversaries flying into the air. His martial arts skills further enriches his Iron Fist technique, such as Muay Thai forms allow him to deliver killer elbow and knee strikes, while Wing Chun techniques make him unbeatable at close-range combat and rapid-fire strikes. Iron Fist is also a master of chi-based techniques, the Drunken style for example, which shields him from Mr. X's telepathic senses and Spider-Man's Spidey senses. Another deadly example of his chi expertise is the Black Poison Touch, through which he channels his chi to kill opponents in close vicinity. Trained to be a living weapon, Iron Fist is one of the most powerful martial artists in the world. Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Our next pick here is a total mystery, but he's bloody good at his job. In fact, he's the best. Meet Snake Eyes, one of the original commandos of the G.I. Joe lore, and a significant character of the franchise, whose real identity remains shrouded in mystery despite his massive popularity. Much of his personal details, such as his place of birth, serial number, history and origin, remain classified, but some elements of this character remain consistent across his different storylines. Introduced as a G.I. Joe toy, Snake Eyes eventually made it to Marvel Comics, in which he was depicted as a remarkable commando who served in the US Army. During a fateful mission, Snake Eyes was heavily wounded and subsequently rescued by his friend, Storm Shadow. Having lost his family in a car accident, Snake Eyes decided to take the path of his friend and train as a ninja with Storm Shadow's family, the Arashikage clan. Snake Eyes' combat skills impressed the Hard Master, Storm Shadow's uncle, who wanted him to take over the clan eventually. Thus, Hard Master often pitted the two friends against each other in the fight arena, with Snake Eyes sneakily accepting defeat in some cases so that Storm Shadow could win. Things took a dark turn when an assassin murdered the Hard Master using Storm Shadow's arrows to implicate the warrior in his uncle's murder. Arashikage clan was eventually dissolved and Snake Eyes relocated to the High Sierra Mountains till G.I. Joe's original Ranger Stalker arrived to enlist him for G.I. Joe. During this time, Snake Eyes became romantically involved with Scarlet, the first female recruit of G.I. Joe. In his attempt to save Scarlet in a helicopter crash, Snake Eyes got his face burnt and his vocal cords destroyed, which is why he became the silent but deadly assassin. Following the accident, Snake Eyes donned a black ninja suit and had multiple plastic surgeries to fix his face, but he began covering his face in a balaclava and visor. Trained in various martial arts forms by the Japanese Arashikage clan, Snake Eyes is proficient in as many as 12 disciplines, including Jiu-Jitsu, Karate, Kung Fu, Ninjutsu, and Taekwondo, among others. And he's a black belt in several of these martial art disciplines. He's the most competent warrior of the Arashikage clan, perhaps only rivaled by Storm Shadow. His training at Arashikage clan also taught him to control his mind and not just his body. Trained in various martial arts forms by the Japanese Arashikage clan, Snake Eyes is proficient in as many as 12 disciplines, including Jiu-Jitsu, Karate, Kung Fu, Ninjutsu, and Taekwondo, among others. And he's a black belt in several of these martial art disciplines. He's the most competent warrior of the Arashikage clan, perhaps only rivaled by Storm Shadow. His training at Arashikage clan also taught him to control his mind and not just his body. He was trained in mental combat and was taught the ability to detect evil forces. In addition to his martial art prowess, Snake Eyes is extensively trained in survival techniques, holistic medicines, mountaineering, and underwater demolition. As a trained martial artist, Snake Eyes has developed excellent awareness and can fight perfectly even without any visibility. He's known to break up rock with the brute strength of his hands and deliver a powerful enough hit to a Cobra soldier to shatter his helmet. He's known to conduct raids against the terrorist organization Cobra all on his own, earning the baddest butt kicker bar none title from Scarlet. As a martial artist, Snake Eyes is able to sense his opponent's chi to determine their hostility. As a G.I. Joe commando, Snake Eyes was proficient in firearms and bladed weapons, such as the windmill shuriken, which operated in boomerang fashion, and the nunchaku. As one of the most skilled commandos in the world, Snake Eyes went on to serve as a hand-to-hand combat instructor for G.I. Joe. So folks, that was indeed a power-packed list of invincible baddies and legendary superheroes, with martial arts expertise at the center of their powers. We hope you enjoyed our attempt to encapsulate the weird and the fantastic abilities of some of the most powerful warrior characters out there. Have we included your favorite martial arts warrior in the list? Please tell us in the comments below. If you liked our video, give us a shout out and watch this space for more marvelous content. Till then, keep harnessing the power of your chi. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.